I've always believed that the real way out of poverty is through jobs. You know, if you can create jobs and give people a source of real income, then poverty will take care of itself. What is missing in many of these places is opportunity. I went to President Clinton, I said, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. We're not doing enough. And he kind of agreed. And I said, I really want us to have a game changer.
You know, I just loved him because he was so enthusiastic and he wanted to do all this. And I was overwhelmed when he told me that he was going to commit a huge amount of his life and a huge amount of his fortune to helping other people have their stories. And the thing I like about him is he's both idealistic and very hard-headed. So he doesn't want to waste his money and he doesn't want to waste his time.
And so a lot of the stuff that we do in the Clinton Giustra Enterprise Partnership is about just creating the opportunity where it didn't exist and let them just do what they would normally do if they had the opportunity.
What I find particularly striking is this balance that he has between his involvement that is very local and his involvement as well that's totally global. I think there are very few people who have that kind of sense of themselves as a local and a global citizen. He does.
Well, I think in the early 2000s, around 2004 to 2007, it became very evident that there was a growing homelessness in the city. It was in the newspapers, and you could see it just walking in the streets. And
we all live in this community. This is my home. You know, it was embarrassing to me that we'd live in such a beautiful city. The problem we had with homelessness was at epic proportions.
They realized that probably it wasn't them that should be running it. They should set up a separate foundation financed by the provincial government, the city, and private money, which was the Vancouver Foundation. And Frank was one of the original people who said, I think this is important. I'm concerned about the people on the street, and I want to be one of the leaders in solving this problem. I don't think the general public knows that, you know, they see this person in the papers with Clinton and doing things, but in his own community, he follows through, and he follows through with interest and engagement.
He sees value in every one of those boys. Frank sees that no boy is disposable, that they all count, they all matter. He's making a difference in these kids' lives, and in doing that, those kids are making a difference in other kids' lives and in the lives of their families and the greater community.
Teenagers, if they have no adult parental guidance, mentoring at home, if it doesn't exist, as it doesn't exist for a lot of these kids that live in different parts of the city, if that mentoring's not there, if that guidance is not there, they will be quite prone to going down the wrong path. And the wrong path is a very dangerous path. It's, you know, gangs, drugs, drinking, quitting school.
You know, we have one boy in our network that his name is Zin. And Zin will tell you, you know, his story is a tough one. He was a loan shark at the age of 16. He was a member of a very large gang in Vancouver. He said that the moment that changed his life was when Frank Giustra came to speak to the boys. And Frank told his story of where he'd grown up and where he was today. And he said, you know what, guys? I used to get into fights all the time. I'm not a big guy, but I fought really hard. And I had that reputation. But where my life changed was when I took my fights from the street and into the boardroom. Well, Zin says that moment, and he will recount that line 1,000,000 times to 1,000,000 people if he asks you, that was the moment where he decided no more. I don't want to be in a gang. I want to take my fights off the street and into a boardroom. I want to be like him. That's life-changing.
A lot of wealthy people live under this illusion that having that wealth gives them something that the rest of us don't have, and it doesn't. It doesn't buy you peace, and it doesn't buy you immortality. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to convince people that instead of hanging on to that illusion that'll get you nowhere, is use that wealth to do something to better the world around you. And in that way, you're leaving a lasting legacy that will survive you. You've helped make the world a better place. And as importantly, if you have children, your children will have something to brag about.